walked in that clinic, I was an absolute mess. I was confused. I was crying. It felt like, I immediately felt like I was part of a herd with a dollar sign on my face and a number on my back. And I say this because nobody reached out and nobody cared that I was so distraught. I couldn't even engage in simple conversation. I had my head down. I was continuously wiping my tears. And I'm thinking that I'm going to get an ultrasound at this time because that's what the clinic told me before. I was going to get an ultrasound because they thought I had already exceeded the limit that clinic did, which was 24 weeks. And so when they called me back, the lady that gave me the gown said that I was going to go then in the next room, take my vitals so I could begin the process of having an abortion. And I said, oh, I thought I was here to have an ultrasound. And she goes, oh no, it's okay. You don't need an ultrasound anymore. So then it was very surreal to be there that pregnant in a gown, thinking I was going to get an ultrasound and not. I was now beginning the abortion procedure. I remember there was a lot of noise in my head. Like, what am I doing? What's going on? One of the clinic workers called my name and I went to another room. It was in that room where they laid me down on a narrow, cold gurney, I guess, or bed. And I'm laying down now on my back. My stomach is really big. And she looked in my eyes and she said, is this your first abortion? You have so much fear in your eyes. And I said, yes, it is. And she called the abortionist over there. She goes, come here, look at her. Look at how much fear she has in her eyes. And the abortionist stood over me and she goes, oh, honey, don't worry. This is not a big deal. This is no big deal at all. It'll be over very quick. And that was the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. And then the abortionist gave me a shot into my abdomen. And at that time, my daughter, like, instantly started like kicking and punching and twisting. And it was like I was slapped in the face. It was like, oh my gosh, like reality hit me. Like, what are you doing? Like, my daughter's fighting for her life. I was like, a light bulb went off. Like, I'm killing my own daughter. And at that point, before that, I did not have that, I guess, that thought in my mind. I probably was in there like 6 or 7 minutes or something, less than 10 minutes for sure. And then they sent me to another room of the recovery room. And nobody was speaking. Everyone's laying on their side. And I could see the women, I could see their faces, tears just dropping from their eyes. They're quietly crying and the tears are just coming down. And now I'm like, what do I need to do to save my daughter's life? And so I went to my mother and I told her what I did. And she was in complete shock because she just never expected it. And so my mother took me to a local labor and delivery hospital. And it was there where they hooked me up to the monitor and the baby monitor where I could hear my daughter's heartbeat. And initially the doctor was optimistic. About an hour or so later, he came in and he said that the specialist that he talked to said that they injected me with a chemical that would eventually stop my daughter's heart. And there was basically nothing that they could do at that point. So I went home, just talking to my daughter in tears, distraught, telling her I was so sorry, praying. And I came back to the hospital the next day at the labor and delivery department, and they hooked me up to the monitor, and sure enough, there was no heartbeat. I was devastated. I was heartbroken because I am the reason why her heart stopped. And when they told me that, they said that the next step would be they would have to induce my labor. So they gave me the medicine to induce me. And I had 7 hours of labor. But after 7 hours of labor and after me pushing, my daughter came out and she was absolutely beautiful. And she looked just like a newborn baby. So I was able to hold her and we did like skin to skin. And I just was caressing her and just telling her, I'm so sorry. Mom was just so scared. I didn't know what else to do. I love you. And I'm just sorry